Good morning, first graders. Today we are on page 267 of your student journal, page 267. And today our objective is today I will use the place value strategy to add with regrouping. So we've been regrouping for a few days now, friends. But today we're using a new strategy. So we've been doing something called draw a picture strategy. Today we're doing something called the place value strategy. Okay, so we're gonna look at a different way to attack these problems. Okay, so let's look at our vocabulary. And in our vocabulary, the first thing they do is they show us an equation, which is 15 plus 8. And we know that we always put our place values on top of our equation. So 1s and 10s and 1s. Okay, so what they've done in the place value strategies, you'll notice there's no pictures. There's no vertical lines or dots. So what they've done instead is they've used numbers. So for the 15, they said the 15 has 1 10. So they did 1 10 right here in the tens column and 5 1s. So they wrote numbers instead of pictures. Okay, then what they did was they said the 8 only has 8 1s. So what they've done is they always start in the 1s column and they said 5 1s plus 8 1s equals 13 1s. But they knew that you can't have 13 in the 1s column because 13, friends, 13, I'm going to write it down here. What is 13? 13 is a 10 plus a 3. That's what 13 is. So what they did is they, instead of having 13 there, they crossed it off and they left the 3, but they put the 10 in the tens column. So instead of having a 13, they had a 3 in the 1s and a 10 in the tens column because 13 is the same as 10 plus 3. And then they added the 10s and said 10 plus 10 is 20. And then they composed is put them back together. Instead of 20 and 3, they composed them to get their answer of 23. And that was the sum 23. So this is the strategy we're going to practice. Now I'm going to show you this problem again. I'm going to actually work it out step by step and show you in just a moment. Okay, let's look at our steps. It says we're going to decompose the add-ins into 10s and 1s. So friends, that's what they did here with the 15. Instead of 15, they put a 10 and a 5. That's called decomposing. Then they're going to add the 1s, because remember we always start in the 1s column. And then they're going to regroup. Now remember the magic number to regroup is 10. We regroup when we have 10 or more. Okay, then we're going to add the 10s and then we're going to compose to find the sum. That's where we put them back together. Okay, so friends, I'm going to get started on my first problem. And here is my first problem. I'm going to zoom in a little bit to make it a little bigger. Okay, my first problem is the equation says 15 plus 8. Okay, 15 plus 8. So the first thing I know is to put my place values, 1s and 10s and 1s. Okay, so for 15, I know 15 has 1 10. So 1 10 is worth 10. I know 15 has 5 1s, which is just a 5 in the 1s column. That's called decomposing. That's step 1. Plus, my other add-in has 8 1s. So it has no 10s, but it has 8 1s. Okay, so that's called step 1 where I decomposed my add-ins and wrote them in. Now I'm ready to add, and I always add starting in the 1s column. So if I have 5 1s plus 8 1s, I probably want to start with 8 in my hand and say 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so I get a 13. Now, I'm in the 1s column though, boys and girls. I can't have a 13 because a 13 has a 10 in it. See, a 13 has, look what a 13 has, 3 1s and 1 10. So I'm not allowed to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 10 away. If I take this 10 away, I'm going to put it in the 10s column. If I take the 10 away, what's left? Is there just 3 1s left? Do we see how if we took the 10 away, there's just 3 ones left? Okay, and I put the 10 up here in the tens column because that's where it would belong. So what do I have here now? I have a 10 plus a 10 equals 20. So I have 20 and 3. And when I compose those, when I put those back together, I get 23. Okay, let's look at my next part of it, which is working form. Okay, ready? So for working form, I'm going to draw my vertical line to separate my tens and ones column. And my first add-in is 15. And my second add-in is 8. Okay, so when I add, I always start in the ones column. So 5 ones plus 8 ones, we said was 13 ones. But I can't put a 13 here, so I put the 3 ones and I put the 1 10 up there. And look at this, boys and girls. Look how, see, it still kind of looks like a 13 that I wrote because I have a 1 and a 3. So it's kind of still like the 13, but it's 3 ones and 1 10. And then I have 1 2 10s is 2 10s right there. So my answer or my sum is 23. Okay, I'm going to do another one of those. Here's my next one. My next one is 27 plus 37. Okay, 27 plus 37, and I'm going to start by putting my place values, ones, tens, ones, tens. Okay, so my first add-in has 2 tens. So if I say I have 10, 20, 2 tens is 20, and it has 7 ones. My next add-in has 3 tens. See, 3 tens, so it's 10, 20, 30. So 3 tens is 30, and it has 7 ones. Okay, so that was step 1 where I decomposed them. Now I'm ready to add starting in the ones place. So I have 7 ones plus 7 ones. So if I have 7, I have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 7 plus 7 is 14. Okay, but I have to stop because I'm in the ones column. I can't have a 14 because look what a 14 has. A 14 has a 10 in it. So I need to take that 10 away. Okay, if I take that 10 away, I'm going to put it in the tens column. And if I take the 10 away, what's left? Just the 4 ones. Okay, so what do we have in my tens column? I have 10 plus 20. So 10, 20, 30. And then plus 30 again. So 40, 50, 60. So I have 60. So if I compose 60 and 4 together, I get 64. Okay, let's look at this in working form. Okay, in working form, our first add-in was 27, and our second add-in was 37. So we said 7 ones plus 7 ones is 14, but I couldn't put a 14 there, so I put the 4 ones and brought 1 10 over there. So instead of 14, I put 4 ones and 1 10 up there. And see how it still kind of looks like a 14? Okay, and then I had 1 10 plus 2 10s is 3 10s, plus 3 more 10s is 6 10s. So my sum is 64. Okay, boys and girls, let's try some of these together. We are on page 268, page 268, and here is our first problem. Here is our first problem. Okay, and our first problem says 62 plus 9. That's our equation. Okay, so what are we going to do first? Put our place values. Ones, tens, ones. Okay, so 62 has 6 tens. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 6 tens is 60. Notice where I put my 60, boys and girls. I didn't put it at the very top. I'm leaving a little bit of room at the top. Okay, so 6 tens is 60 and it has 2 ones. 2 ones is just 2. Okay, our next add-in is 9 ones. There's no tens, but there's 9 ones. Okay, so now that we have that, we're ready to add. And we always add in the ones column first. So we have 2 ones plus 9 ones. So if I have 9, 10, 11. Okay, let's put an 11 here. Okay, what do we know about that 11 though? We know it's a ones and tens. So if we're in the ones column, should we have this 10? Nope. So if we take that 10 away, what are we left with? Don't we just have 1, 1? We just have 1, 1. And where should we put that 10? That 1 10 we're going to put up here. We're going to put a 10 over there. Okay, so what do we have now? We have 10 plus 60 is 70. Because 10 more than 60 is 70. Okay, so let's compose these back together. 70 and 1. When we compose them, we get 71. Okay, boys and girls, let's try this in working form. Let's draw our straight line down. Let's put our first add-in, 62, and our second add-in is 9. Okay, 2 ones plus 9 ones is 11 ones. But what do we know about 11? We know 11 has 1 1 and 1 10. That makes 11. 1 1 and 1 10. And see how it kind of looks like an 11? Okay, so now how many 10s do I have? I have 1 10 plus 6 10s is 7 10s. And see how my sum is the same using both strategies? Okay, let's try another one. I'm going to move my paper up. Okay, our next problem, friends, says 53 plus 27. Okay, ready? So we're going to put our place values always, ones, tens, ones, tens. Okay, next, we're going to look at our first add-in. It has 5 tens. So what is 5 tens? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 5 tens is 50. Plus it has 3 ones. 3 ones is 3. Okay, our next add-in has 2 tens. 2 tens. 2 tens is 20 and 7 ones. Okay, so now that we've done step 1, we're ready to add, and we're going to always start in the ones column. So ready? 3 ones plus 7 ones. Well, if I put 7 in my hand, I have 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, what do we know about 10 though? Don't we know that 10 has a 10 in it? Has 0 ones and 1 10? Can we have a 10 in the ones column? No, friends, we can't. So we need to take the 10 away. So if I take the 10 away, aren't I just left with 0? And where are we going to put the 10? In the tens column. Okay, so what do we have here? We have a 10, a 50, and a 20. I might start with my 50 and say I have 50 plus 20 is 50, 60, 70, and then 10 more is 80. Okay. So when we have 80 plus 0 and we put them together, we still just get 80. Okay, let's look at this using our working form. So do your line. Okay, what's our first add-in? 53, and our second add-in is 27. Okay, so what do we get when we add 3 ones plus 7 ones? Okay, 3 ones plus 7 ones, well, 7, 8, 9, 10. But we can't put a 10 here, so we're going to put the 0 and the 1 there. Because 10 has 0 ones and 1 10. And see how it still looks like a 10, friends? Okay, and then we have 1 10 plus 5 tens is 6 tens. Plus 2 more 10s, so 6 plus 2 more is 8 10s. And we get 80 as well, using a different strategy. Okay, boys and girls, so now we know lots of strategies. We know the draw picture strategy, the place value strategy, the working form strategy. Keep practicing your adding with regrouping. Have a good day. Bye-bye.